and welcome back to another episode with Behind the Scenes with Faith. I'm your host, Cade Merrill. I'm with Robbie Pearson and Sophia Bonaire. Robbie, Sophia, say hi.
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 So let's get started right off the bat with some Faith Lutheran news. The Faith Lutheran hockey game, the senior night, got canceled recently. Robbie, do you know why that is?
I believe it got canceled because the other team contracted positive COVID cases.
What is your thoughts or opinions on that, Sophia?
I think it was responsible that they canceled it because, I don't know, I think, it definitely sucked, especially because it's senior night, but I'm glad that they already rescheduled it, and I believe the new date is February 11th.
Okay. I personally think that they should have, I don't know why they pushed it back so far. I think they should have found a closer time because the players were really excited and then they're told that they're going to play a month later, which is just, I don't know, and they have to practice and all that stuff. So I thought it was kind of bizarre.
Why couldn't they find another team to play with?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's not a whole ton of, teams, especially school teams in the West.
They also have to keep the rankings the same, so they can't, go against two teams the same or something.
Yeah. The next thing, we have some sad news. Mr. Fogo, the principal of Faith Lutheran, is going to leave us. I know Sophia was telling me, I actually figured out because she told me. Can you elaborate and give me some details about it?
So I don't know if he's addressed it yet with everyone, but from what I've heard is that he's leaving to live in Texas, which I think it's Texas, but his youngest son is now graduating Faith. So
He's two youngest. They're twins,
Oh,
right?
he's twins?
Yeah, he is twins. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's Jacob and
Andrew. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they're graduating, so I think now that they're both leaving, he decided that he wants to go maybe with them. I don't know where they're going to college, but yeah, he's leaving, but I don't believe he's retiring.
And we've all three of us have had him throughout our high school career. Obviously, Robbie and I won't be affected by it because we're seniors. However, Sophia, you're a junior. If you had to guess who you think the next principal is going to be, who would you say it is?
I would say Mr. Bowline, but I mean, I don't know. They might replace him. I don't know. Because then if Mr. Bowline becomes principal, then they have to find a new person to replace Mr. Bowline. So I have no idea.
I don't think they're going to go with an outside hire, although they might.
Yeah.
I think
Me and Cam
both think it's going to be Mr. Bikema.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like I've talked with him. He's a really nice guy. I could see him being the principal.
Also, let's look at the way they format it. In middle school, they had Mr. Cody as the vice principal, who's kind of like the mean one, kind of like the...
No, Mr. Cody's great.
He's
what are you
cool.
talking about,
He's the scary
dude?
one, right?
He was the enforcer, you could
and then
say.
you had Miss Harper?
Miss Harper, yeah.
The principal.
And then you have Mr. Bowline, which is kind of like our dean.
Yeah, he's our dean. So, I mean, he's got to enforce kind of like the rules and stuff.
Mr. Fogo, who is like...
He's super...
Cool,
I mean, they're both super nice guys, but
Yeah.
Mr. Fogo's a really, really lovable person, and we're really sad to see him go. So let's take a step back from Faith, but stay in Las Vegas, and the Raiders, our local football team, are going to the playoffs. I was fortunate enough to be at that game. I was very upset because I'm a Chargers fan, actually, and they knocked the Chargers out of the playoffs, but I was really disappointed. Are you guys big football fans, or not really?
The only football team I follow is college football, and it's, I think, Ohio State.
Ohio State?
Or wait, which one
It's
is
such
it?
a lame choice, dude. I mean, I don't like college football in general. I just think it's, college-y, which makes sense because it is college football, but it's just so, it's not like the NFL. It's not as entertaining as the NFL. Sophia, are you a big football person or no?
I'm not, but I do know that everyone, I think, was pretty surprised that the Raiders were going to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't really expected.
They were in the running. They were in the hunt. I was really disappointed. I despise the Raiders. I was upset when they came to Las Vegas, but
Really?
yes, because I'm a Chargers fan. They're in the same division.
Oh, okay.
They're rivals. So
Yeah.
that I heard a statistic that the Chargers and the Raiders are the most on. They have like a prime night, prime time. That's the game that's most watched per weekend. They have the most prime time games out of any rivalry. So I thought that was really cool. The next thing are the Knights are the top of the division. They're doing very well. They lost in overtime last night, but they have been playing phenomenally. Robbie, I know you said you actually have connections with a former player.
Yeah, so my one of my best friends, Barrett Mercer, his dad is friends with Derek England, who used to be on the Knights.
Really?
Yeah. I met him at one of their Christmas parties, and I didn't really. It was the first year the Knights were formed. That time when I met him, so I didn't really know who he was, but everyone was like taking pictures. I didn't get a picture because I didn't know who he was. I was just hanging out with my friend upstairs. And then after it, I was just like, wait, that's a Knights player?
Yeah.
Also, another thing. Wait, who's the captain on the Knights?
The Mark Stone.
I met him at my work.
Did you really?
At Enchant. Yeah, he was on the ice trail when I was on the ice trail as well.
That's
He was
great.
just checking it out. I was like,
That's awesome. Yeah, Mark Stone, I'm a big Mark Stone guy. Whenever he scores, he just has this emotion, and he just shows it. It's great. But if you don't know who Derek England is, he is a defender for the Knights. He lived in Las Vegas before he played for the Knights, and he was a good player. And he now works for a news station, AT&T Sportsnet. Yeah, so if you watch the Knights games, he'll be on there occasionally. But yeah. All right, next thing, world news. A lot of famous people have been passing away. Let's start with the most recent, Bob Saget. Sophia, I know you actually broke the news to me. I was shocked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you kind of had the same reaction I did because I grew up and I watched Full House, which I know is like a 90s show, but it was always on. And yeah, I was really shocked. I found out when my mom told me, and it was weird because it's such like a random person that you didn't really think about that person dying, let alone like so suddenly. And he was on tour because he's a comedian.
Yeah, he is a stand-up comedian. Yeah.
So he was on tour, and I want to say he was in Florida when he died, but.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the middle of a stand-up tour, which is crazy.
do they know the cause of death? Was
No, they don't. But what's crazy though is I don't see how he could be age. He was only 65.
Oh, I thought he was older.
No.
I'm thinking of Betty White.
No. See, that's the next person. He was only 65, and it was just shocking. Like, people don't just die of natural causes most of the time. Who don't die of natural causes at 65. It's normally because of disease. He might have had a disease.
He might have. I know his sister had a disease that she died from, but he seemed like such a nice person. He had a lot of like fundraisers for helping the disease that took his sister, and I believe his other sister also passed away, but I can't remember what from.
Yeah, so it might be like a hereditary disease, maybe. Yeah. The next person who has sadly passed is, as Robbie mentioned, Betty White. Betty White was in her late 90s, I believe.
She was 99.
She was close to getting to 100. I absolutely adored her. Almost everyone. I don't know a single person who doesn't like Betty White. She was in a movie I loved called You Again. It's with Kristen Bell. You should really watch it. It's a great movie. It's a rom-com.
She was in The Proposal. Have you seen that?
Oh, she was also in The Proposal. That's also
that's
a really good movie. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she was in Golden Girls too.
Oh yeah, that was kind of like her big thing, because that was a really long TV show.
Yeah.
But
Betty White is older than sliced bread.
No, she isn't.
Sliced bread?
1922.
That's crazy. So breaking news. Robbie has just discovered that bread was sliced in 1928.
Yep.
That was like the first thing. Like sliced bread, like when you get it sliced. And apparently Betty White was born in 1922. So that's pretty nuts. So I guess like in 7 years that record will be broken, but still pretty crazy, not going to lie.
She's older than Mickey Mouse too, then.
Is she really?
Yeah, because Mickey Mouse was 1928 as well. That's weird.
That's crazy, yeah.
But it's kind of sad because like when you walk around grocery stores and stuff and you see like all of the magazines that are already like been promoted and stuff that say like how she's celebrating her 100th birthday,
Oh.
And then now there's coming out with like the ones that are like reporting of her passing.
Was it about to be her 100th birthday?
Yeah, I wanna say,
that
like,
is
February
brutal.
or, like,
I
end
mean,
of
it's
January.
brutal. Obviously, it's brutal anyways, and super sad. But like when you're that close to triple digits, like I know in both, I think England and America, in England you get a letter. If you turn 100, you get a letter from the Queen. And
Wow.
if you're 100 in USA and in the US, you get a letter from the president, which
This
very
is
cool.
kind of off topic. Not really, but because you mentioned the Queen, her reign I think is gonna be 70 years. Which
Yeah,
is, like,
it's gonna be a big deal, which
but
is like.
have you seen all those things saying that, like, because she's like not around, like no one's seen her because she like went to like a hospital or something.
there conspiracy
Really?
theories
There's
starting?
oh my
Yeah, now there's
goodness.
conspiracy
Have you
theories.
guys ever seen the movie Dave?
No.
No.
So okay, sorry, we're getting really off track, but this is a really good movie. It's about this guy who really looks like the president, and then the real president has a heart attack. So this
so
guy
he
named
replaces
Dave
him.
replaces him, and they think he's the president because he looks exactly like him.
That's
But
really
his personality is really different because he's like super nice, and the normal president's really really mean. But yeah, it's really insane.
That's interesting.
But yeah, so the next person who has sadly passed is a football legend, and actually, in my opinion, a video game legend, John Madden. John Madden was a coach. Did you know this?
No.
John Madden was a coach for the Raiders for a while, and then after his career with the Raiders, he was a really good sports announcer, and he helped actually develop Madden.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I saw an interview with him when he was obviously still living, and he said that he would stay up with the game designers at night and help them like say, oh, this might be better if you add this in because it's gonna make the game more realistic. So like Madden is a really popular game. So I mean, he really changed video games. Like that's really insane. And then the last topic, the Winter Olympics starts February 4th. There has been a lot of crazy things going on with the Winter Olympics as it is in Beijing, I believe.
Yep.
Their COVID protocol is extremely strict. Originally, a lot of NHL players were going to go to the Olympics. However, if you get COVID, you have to stay in Beijing, stay isolated for like a month or two or something like that for a really long time. So a lot of players aren't going because it's not worth it. Because if they get it and they test positive, they have to stay and they can't come back to the U.S. and play in the NHL. So it's going to be really crazy.
I actually saw something on the news. It's kind of related. I don't know if it was in Beijing. It might be just China. But there's a guy going into, I think it was Beijing for a new job. He got COVID the first day. He couldn't leave the airport because he got COVID. So what they do, you have to stay in the airport until you get a negative COVID test when you get there.
Oh
No.
my
From
goodness.
what
So
I
you're
saw.
staying in the airport for like
Like 2 weeks.
for like
Oh
at
my
least a week to
goodness.
get your result, or like.
unless it's a negative,
and
unless
no,
it was a false
and
positive.
if it's positive, you have to stay in. So you have like, hospitals, how they have like at least like a room,
Like a room,
with
yeah.
like a little bed in it.
Yeah.
You have to stay in there for a month.
That
You
a
can't.
month?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. That I understand like being safe and all, but in my opinion, that's a little too far. Like that's like, and especially now with the vaccines out and like people like I don't know, Omicron is already really like easy to spread. Like that's something that spreads to people and it's really quick at spreading. So almost everyone's gonna get it.
4 of my friends have it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I know a lot of people that.
a lot of people are gonna get it, and also it's not as serious as like Delta or whatever because Omicron isn't as like deadly. Like there's only been a couple people who have died from Omicron, so I think there's some cases where it's being taken a bit too far. Another thing about China, there was a female tennis player who spoke out about like a Chinese government and about how it's corrupt and stuff, and she has not been seen at all. There was a Twitter post that she posted that was like, oh, I regret what I said and all this stuff, but like pretty crazy stuff to be, yeah. And that is it with Behind the Scenes with Faith Lutheran. I'm your host, Caden Merrill. Have a good day.